And I wanted to ask you, Sabine, how did you get interested to this method, 5 keys of communication?
Thank you. Hello, Katrine, and hello, everyone. So my interest, my passion for communication comes from the interest of what happens when we open our hearts, or how can I open my heart? I find that there's so many ways that we close our hearts, that we close off from our real experience. And I was always interested in finding ways to understand, first of all, what is going on. That comes naturally from being a meditator, to meditate, to see once you slow down and once you sit down and start meditating, that there's so much going on, and there is so much more going on than what we think. Like I think what I learned from meditation is that we don't have to believe everything we think. And nevertheless, thinking occurs all the time. And in communication, it's not just us, but it's other people and the dynamics and energies of other people. And I've always been interested in what is going on between us. I feel there's so much more going on than what we actually say, or how a meeting turns out, than what happens underneath. So I've been always interested in what happens underneath. And communication is a rich field to explore that. I feel that is where my interest comes from. So Karuna is about that, about becoming skillfully working with ourselves and with other people in opening our heart, which I believe is what we all long for. And the approach of Susan Chapman is also about that, in that she presents what is happening in communication, how easily we close off and then stay closed off and can't really experience the richness in the world and of our relationships. Does that make sense?
Yes, very much so. And it's very interesting for sure to really look at all this unsaid layers that we hide, or we hide to ourselves. So can you tell us just a few words about that work of the 5 keys of communication and how it takes place in a retreat?
Yeah, I love to, because I'm looking very much forward to the retreat. It's a great opportunity to have 6 days and work with the approach that Susan Gillis Chapman is presenting. It is a very simple and at the same time, I would say liberating approach, in that she has the image of the traffic lights, in that she says that like red and green is a symbol for being open and being closed, and the yellow is an in-between stage. And what happens is that there is natural flow in communication, and then at some point this flow is interrupted. And what I find most fascinating to continuously explore again and again is that, like little babies or like children, we are shocked every time when our communication is a flowing connection is interrupted. So there is a pain, there is a shock, and what's happening is that we cringe, or we close down, and all our patterns of our lifelong experience kick in, that we think, okay, well, she is an idiot, or I am not worthy, I'm not interesting to be talked with, and we shut down, we withdraw. And that becomes very complicated because the other person has similar patterns and so forth and so forth. So the simplicity of Susan's approach and the great gift of this approach is that we can always come back to this simplicity of, we call it in the title of the program, we call it the tenderness. She basically says that we have everything to communicate. We have an awake body, we have a tender heart, and we have an open mind. And that is, so we are equipped fully to communicate. And then she uses the various keys of mindfully listening, speaking in a clear way, and so forth, all the various aspects of communication, relationships, to demonstrate how this mechanic, or the automatism of, once I experience this shock, I go into my closed off patterns, or we could also, another word for that is reactivity, instead of finding an accurate response that maybe says, woo, that was difficult for me, or
you can say the light is yellow.
Yeah, exactly. So
Stop.
yeah, exactly. So I find that very helpful, and I find great joy in sharing this. It's a very it gives a ground for a lot of play and a lot of exercises to explore. But the point is here is that the mindfulness, or Susan talks about green zones that are protected, that are safe, and where we can explore what's actually happening. Nobody can tell us what is happening. It's only us who can tell what's happening. And we need that space, that protected space, to explore, and ideally with other people who are interested, who have the same wish to understand what this is, why we close our hearts and why we open it. Because opening our heart is something that well, I don't know if I can say that now, but I think I do. Opening our heart is something that occurs. It's not something that we control. So it's extremely difficult, interesting, and provides a lot of ground for exploration, honest exploration.
Okay, so you mean that we have to cultivate this green zone when things can occur, basically.
Yeah, and here we go. Here we come to my other passion, that I think in our society is like so not a green zone. Like we are forced to deliver all the time. We are forced to be perfect, and get a lot of likes, and perform. So this approach doesn't go to performing. It goes to being, and to strengthening ourselves, and to grow out of our probably well developed pattern to survive, but to say, now this is my life, and I want to be awake, and I want to experience my life, and not say in the end, well, I did great grades and I have tons of clicks and likes, and earned a lot of money or whatever. I had a great career, but I wasn't really there because I was just busy functioning and warding off all difficult situation. Because once we look into this the reasons why we open and close our hearts, we have to relate to our pain and worries, woes, you said.
But you say we can do it in a playful way, so it's also a lesson and learn that we don't have to regret forever. We can also turn it into a play, isn't it?
Yeah, it's, and also being held by a situation that is created just for us to allow this feeling of tenderness, or where we've to acknowledge, or, well, you could basically say it is another method of self-compassion and self-care, which is brought about through the practice of meditation. That once we sit down and we are a little more able to dissect what is thinking and what is truly feeling, and not always telling us we have to be like this or we have to be like that. That is sort of brought in on the way through the practice of meditation, of mindfulness. So yeah, we can probably will have some serious conversations, or serious is not the right word, but
Deep,
honest conversations, where we don't have to know the solution, but we can just explore what is going on for us. And then there's also a lot of ground for playfulness and trying stuff out with each other, together.
Together, yeah. The last question, Sabine. This is, of course, completely open to everyone. You can also learn meditation in doing this.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. Yeah, Anne-Emmanuelle and I are meditators. We like to meditate, but we also both like to communicate and speak to each other and speak to other people. So the way we have planned this program is that certainly there will be an introduction to mindfulness, but this is directed to people who have the longing to be authentic, or to be yeah, it's just words, but to be real, and to really find out who they are.
Well, I think this is a very good end, and I wish many people come this summer and sort of at the same time come to visit our place, our land here in Dechencheling, and that's always a complete enjoyment that goes with the programs we do here.
Yes. And
thank you, Sabine.
I can say I did the program at Dechencheling already, and Dechencheling is the perfect place because yes, there's so much talking, blah blah blah, but there's also being silent and being in communication with the world, opening our senses, and that Dechencheling is so inviting us. It's such a good place to do that. It's so rich and beautiful that it helps us in relaxing and just being good with and towards ourselves. Yeah, I wish so too, that people will find this. I think it really is a service to society, that to provide a possibility for people to explore their communication patterns.
So I remind everyone who is listening that the program is from the 9th of August to the 16th, and you're welcome to register right now on the website of Dechencheling. Thank you, Sabine, and see you soon.
Yeah, see you soon.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.